Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTGO Traders. My name is Taryn, and today we've got a very special deck that's sure to please. Green-White Cat Tribal. When Amonkhet came out, we expected zombies, jackals, and on some level we thought minotaurs may make their way back as well. But cats? Oh yes, we hoped, we dreamed, and we loved the thought of playing a tribal cat deck. Well, I'm here to tell you that your dreams are reality. This is a simple, easy to pick up, and fun deck to play. While it does and often can reach into the upper echelons of decks, if you're bringing this to a PTQ, I'll feel bad for you. But I have totally beaten Black-White Zombies, Azorius Control, and yes, even Mardu vehicles in playtesting. So here we go. Let's start at the creatures in the 1-drop slot. That's right, give it up for one of the best cats in the game, Sacred Cat. A total 4 of. While you may think this card isn't great, the lifelink and immediate recursion value the card brings makes it a great attacker, blocker, and tempo builder. The other 4 1-drop cat is Scythe Leopard. We want our board state to be aggressive, and we represent that with both the Sacred Cat and Scythe Leopard. Both interact with forward momentum and tempo, and Scythe Leopard helps us to get in early or trade for higher level creatures later in the game. And to help them in that creature-based race, we've got the standard staple cat called Longtusk Cub, a complete 4 of. This little guy does some major work in the early game. And while basically warranting a removal spell, the cub gets larger every turn it gets in, giving your opponent a clock and reason to fear a dinky tutu. If you want to feed into their removal in order to play your late game bomb, play this cat. Now, while technically this isn't a cat, it does help our board develop into a real threat quickly. 4 copies of Metallic Mimic. This 2-1 tribal builder turns those 1-1 sacred cats into 2-2s upon recursion, making an already annoying threat even more practical. The best part, the Mimic can pump other Mimics as they enter the battlefield, meaning if your opponent is having trouble dealing with your board state, get ready, because you're about to bring some feline pain. The last 2-drop creature in the deck is a 2 of Scrounging Bandar. The reason this cat monkey is here is to help reinforce your board. You can move counters from him to other creatures, so this can be used to pump your Mimics to be more resilient to Magma Spray, Harness Lightnings, and other removal spells. Moving on to the 3-mana slot, we've got the wonderfully unique Prowling Serpopard, a total of 2. While a 5/3 alone sounds decent, the can't be countered and creatures you control can't be countered is where the Serpopard shines. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of counterspells in Standard right now. Censor, Essence Scatter, Disallow, I could go on. Having these cats mainboard makes playing against control an absolute breeze. Playing this on game 1 against a control deck is just hilarious. 2 other 3-drops in the deck is a 2 of the Aetherstream Leopard, a 2/3 cat that can swing for 4/3 on first attack, or it can help feed the Longtusk Cub. Trample is why it's here though, and it can help finish a game that need 1 or 2 more points of damage. Another 2 is the Pouncing Cheetah. Now this one is a potential in or out, but we found in the late game it could really help against control matchups and make blocking a bit easier. And finally, in the 5-drop slot, we've got the Mama Cat, the mighty Regal Caracal. This cat lord is absolutely bonkers. You think this is a good bomb in limited? Try Constructed. This pumps your entire board and gives them lifelink, not to mention creates 2 1/1s as well that are 2/2s when the lord hits the field. While this deck relies more on continued attacking for finishing, if you play this cat, the game might as well be over. Now, being a creature-based strategy, we need to keep our guys alive and growing as each turn passes. So how do we do that? Counters and pump evasion spells. We've got a 2 of Blossoming Defense. This card comes in so handy when you're trying to stabilize your Mimic counters as more cats hit the field. It's also a great way to end the game with an opponent with poor blockers. Most standard decks also run a ton of spot removal, so these will come in handy. We want to make sure our board is building out, not blowing up. Next, we've got a suite of enchantments that make that built board state even more deadly. The cat tribal deck itself is strong, but when going up against powerful board states like zombies or big dudes like green-black good stuff, we need to pump ourselves up. Oath of Ajani and Always Watching is the answer here. Oath is a great turn 3 or 4 pump spell to a growing board state that makes blocking very difficult. Again, in the early game, we want to be turning sideways as often as possible, and the extra bit of power and toughness go a long way. Playing that in the late game, that can turn the tide in a battle. As for Always Watching, while not as useful in this deck since it doesn't hit the Sacred Cat and Caracal tokens, it does help grow your board and keep you on an upward trend. And as for spot removal, we've got a 2 of enchantment here of Stasis Snare. Removal is important, and tribal decks here have very little slots for removal, but I spent the slots here to make sure we could grab a creature that was proving difficult in game 1. There are other lists that put Declaration of Stone here over Stasis Snare, but the advantage of being able to draw with the clue that we give them may win them the game. I'd rather be safe than sorry. But that's it for the main board. Let's go over lands. The deck is is leaning more towards white here, with 26 white mana and 22 green mana requirements. However, there are more double white cards in here, and that needs dealing with. So that's why we have 3 dual land types, 4 Canopy Vistas, 4 Fortified Village, and the new land from Amonkhet, but only 2 Scattered Groves. Why not 4? Well, it's basically a tapped land, and we want to try to be as aggressive as possible, but the cycling land comes in handy in a pinch, especially in the late game where you've hit your 5th or 6th mana. After that, 5 forests and 6 plains, and a 1 of Westvale Abbey. You'd be surprised how close you naturally get to 5 creatures on stack, and having open mana in the late game creating 1/1s is a real thing. It's a fairly solid mana base, though you could argue for an Aether Hub or 2 in place of a green mana if you want to be more aggressive, but I didn't feel it was necessary. As for the sideboard, let's talk removal and tempo. Going up against other tribal decks and aggressive decks have shown me the true worth of Authority of the Consuls, and that's why we have a 2 of in this slot. Remember, your deck is based on outpacing your opponent. The life gain and tempo disruptor is enough to change a match. Board this in against aggressive strategies like zombies, servos, red-white humans, etc. Next up, we've got 2 Declaration in Stone. This is a great card in the current environment, especially against the mirror match or zombie decks where tokens are being made every turn. Great, solid removal. To deal with artifacts, we've got Natural Obsolescence, still one of the best cards in Standard at the moment. Thanks to putting it back into the deck, dealing with the Scrap Heap Scrounger isn't nearly as annoying. But just in case Heart of Kiran does start swinging at your face, we've got 1 more Stasis Snare and 4 Cast Out. Stasis Snare is just too good to pass up here, and Cast Out is here to deal with bigger threats like Gideon, a Dormant Heart of Kiran, and pesky gods. The final 4 cards in the sideboard is a 2 of Prowling Serpopard to deal with the heavy control matchup, and 2 Heroic Interventions to be able to deal with board wipes and removal in important swings. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Amonkhet brought a pretty sweet cat tribal deck to Standard. It's a fun, easy to learn, powerful deck that can really punch up in weight class. The best part, this deck is around 35 tickets at MTGO traders. So cheap for how fun it is to be playing cat tribal. So, what are you doing? Pick it up right meow. We're at the end screen, folks. Let me know what you thought of the deck. We'll be having some gameplay videos coming out soon for the deck, and let me tell you, it does work. So proud. But yeah, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more MTGO Traders content in the near future. We'll see you in the next video.